Good afternoon. Please be seated. This is a historic moment. Graduation is very special to us, and even more special because our 2020 graduating class has weathered so much and has given us so much this year. I am Michelle Alexandre, a member of the faculty and Dean of Stetson University College of Law. Welcome. Honored guests, students, faculty, family members, spouses, partners, and friends, and most importantly, graduates. Welcome to our December 2020 commencement ceremony. Let's hear it for our graduates. Today is a unique celebration as we recognize the classes of December 2019, May and August 2020, and December 2020. We are delighted that you could all be with us today in person for this celebration. First, I would like to acknowledge our active duty military personnel and our veterans in this graduating class, in our faculty, and in our audience. Please stand so that we can recognize your service. Let me take a moment to introduce those on stage with me and those who are part of the procession. We are honored to have with us Dr. Christopher Wilkie, President of Stetson University, Dr. Noel Pinter, Executive Vice President and Provost of Stetson University, Jason Bent, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and Professor of Law, Darrell Wilson, Associate Dean for Faculty and Strategic Initiatives and Professor of Law, Dorothea Bean, Professor of Law, Dr. Jocinda Hudson, Assistant Dean for Student Affairs, and our commencement speaker, Laurie Baggett, Tampa Office Managing Shareholder of Carlton Fields. Welcome. I would also like to recognize those honored guests who, due to COVID restrictions, unfortunately could not be part of this in-person ceremony. They graciously sent a personal video to the graduates. We invite you to view their personal videos on the graduation webpage. They are Maureen Boykian-Evans, Chair of the Board of Trustees, Greg Coleman, Chair of the Board of Overseers, Kevin Iorado, President of the Stetson Lawyers Alumni Association, and Rachel Wise, the outgoing Student Bar Association President. As many of you know, Stetson Law has a pro bono requirement for graduation. Our December 2019 and May 2020 graduates and students volunteered more than 34,000 hours of community service. Many of our graduates took our pro bono requirement to the next level by continuing to serve their communities and society even after they had far exceeded the required number of hours using the skills and tools learned at Stetson. They doubled down on that commitment during the pandemic, creating new ways to be of use to the community. You will recognize those graduates by their blue cord, representing our Blues Award for pro bono service. It is my hope that you will continue to serve your communities with distinction and professionalism as a Stetson lawyer. This year at orientation, I told our group of fresh-faced 1Ls that they would be forging a new path that no one had walked before. I impress upon them that having empathy for others, grit, and resilience are the pivotal foundation of a good attorney. As I thought about what I wanted to say to you all today, I found myself reflecting on those words because I realized that you are the embodiment of them. You have already forged a path to conditions that no one had encountered before. As a result, you now know what it is like to successfully complete one of your life's biggest challenges, despite the immense hurdles that were placed on your path. You have done it. This year, this momentous year, you have shown that resilience, that Stetson law grit, and our special breed of dogged commitment. You have dug deep and transcended endless limitations to reach this amazing milestone. I am so proud of you as humans, as scholars, and as legal minds. In answering the call to become an attorney, you are beginning your purpose in life. You now have the tools to be change agents and justice warriors who can transform the world. So today, we celebrate you, your graduation, and your accomplishments. We take this moment to cherish all that you've done, and we feel hope and excitement for all that you will do. I now invite President Roque to offer offerings.
Good afternoon. No, not quite. Good morning. Before I begin, how about three shout-outs? First, how about a shout-out for all the faculty, staff, and administration, and all those that have made today's event possible. They've worked very, very hard. A shout-out to all the family, loved ones, friends, etc., that are in attendance today or not in attendance that have made the law school education possible for our students over here. And of course, a huge shout out for our law school graduates. We gather today to celebrate the accomplishments of our students who have rightfully earned their Juris Doctor and other advanced law degrees. My sincerest congratulations to you. You have made it to the end of a remarkable journey, literally unlike any other journey before you. As you join the Stetson Alumni Network and become part of an enduring community of Stetson law graduates, contemplate for a moment where you were at this time last year. You were facing your last year of law school, and just a little bit more than a year ago, I was named by our Board of Trustees as Stetson's 10th president. I imagine that we both looked forward to the year ahead with a lot of excitement and anticipation. Thomas Gray was right in 1742 when he wrote, "Ignorance is bliss," because there was no way we could perceive what might lie ahead. And yet, here you are. You made it. You made it through lockdowns, online learning, virtual meetings, bad audio, lost internet connections, canceled bar exams, masks, hand washing, physical distancing, you name it, you endured. Your friends, families, and faculty are assembled here to celebrate you. And I believe this is a very special graduation because you achieved your degree and you did so this year. You were not only tested in the classroom, but ultimately by life. For me, and maybe for many of you, it would have been impossible to endure and even thrive this past year without one thing: kindness. Since I first stepped into Stetson's campus, I have quoted the wisdom of Mr. Rogers, who said there are three ways to ultimate success. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. And the third is to be kind. So when Dean Alexandre, the administration, and I first started the work and planning for resumption of classes in both Gulfport and DeLand, we made a very conscious decision that everything we did, everything we planned, would be done with kindness, with empathy, and with agency. So today, as I congratulate you for becoming part of the rich tradition of Stetson Law graduates who have gathered at this very same spot, I ask you to consider both the small and large acts of kindness you may have received along this journey. As you take the countless hours you have given in classrooms, courtrooms, clinical experiences, and competitions out into the world and into your careers, I ask you to consider repaying the kindness you have received with the kindness you may give. Why? Kindness not only matters, it enables us to listen, to engage with others unlike ourselves, and to consider paths we can forge together to make our community, in fact the world, a better place. The mission of Stetson University College of Law is to be a dynamic and supportive scholarly community whose faculty and students will have a meaningful and far-reaching impact on the law, the profession, and society. Here at Stetson, you have learned the law and the skills required to apply it to legal practice with integrity and with professionalism. I ask you today to please add kindness to your practice. As you grow and thrive, I challenge you to help those around you to thrive, to offer small acts of kindness to your clients, to your partners, your institutions, your organizations, and those you love. Ultimately, this is how you'll become the lawyer you set out to be, serving justice wherever life takes you. Thank you and congratulations.
President Rolke, on the recommendation of the faculty and students at the College of Law, and with the approval of the Board of Trustees of Stetson University, I present Laurie Baggett to receive the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws.
Congratulations on this accomplishment. It's really quite amazing, really wonderful. Laurie Baggett, you have distinguished yourself as a shining example of the heights that can be achieved when a lawyer combines hard work with dedication and outstanding personal and professional ethics. After graduating from Stetson University College of Law with a Juris Doctor in 2002, you completed a federal clerkship for the Honorable Charles R. Wilson, U.S. Court of Appeals, 11th Circuit, before joining the law firm Carlton Fields in Tampa. There you have excelled and built a stellar name for yourself in construction law. You have successfully represented companies in labor and employment law issues with an expertise in workplace safety and health matters, and are one of only a handful of Florida lawyers with OSHA 30 certification. Your exemplary work has led to a number of accolades, including being named to the Best Lawyers in America for Construction Law, Florida Trends Florida Legal Elite, and Florida Super Lawyer. Most recently, you were named managing shareholder of the Tampa office of Carlton Fields, the third largest law firm in the Tampa Bay area, with 96 local attorneys and more than 300 nationwide. You have held many leadership roles in the legal world, at your firm, and in the community. You served as chair of the American Bar Association's Forum on Construction Law, Labor, and Employment Division, and are completing a 3-year term on the forum's governing committee. You co-chair Carlton Fields Women's Alliance and are a past fellow of the Leadership Council on Legal Diversity, a national organization dedicated to building a more open and diverse legal profession. As the first person of color to hold your current position and one of a tiny percentage of your gender and ethnicity to not only become partner, but to becoming managing partner in big law, you are an inspiration to all of us. Your focus on promoting diversity in the legal profession and your barrier-breaking career represents the embodiment of consummate practice readiness and of the immense possibilities present in the current legal landscape for a Stetson Law graduate. In addition to your professional responsibilities, you continue to dedicate time and talent to the Stetson Law community by serving a second term as a member of the Stetson Law Alumni Association and being recently inducted into the U.S. Supreme Court with other Stetson alumni. You generously established the Baggett Family Scholarship at Stetson Law for African American students who exhibit academic and personal leadership, paving the way for the meaningful inclusion of diverse perspectives in higher education and the legal profession at large. In light of your many, many achievements, and under the authority vested in me by Stetson University's Board of Trustees, I proudly present you with the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for those kind words. Thank you, Dean Alexandre, to our distinguished guests, to our graduates, and to all of you, their family and friends. I think I get to, oh no, still good morning. Good morning. And thank you for allowing me to say a few words on this special occasion, which is certainly one of the best things to happen in 2020. My name is Laurie Baggett, and it doesn't seem that long ago that I too was sitting here at my commencement from Stetson College of Law. I hope you all are savoring this accomplishment. Congratulations and well done. As the dean said, when you began your law school journey 3 years ago, I'm sure you never imagined that it would culminate like this, with surgical masks and social distancing and video conferencing. But here we are, in the middle of a global pandemic, a time of great social change and tumultuous politics, and a world so full of uncertainty. But in this moment, I'd like to offer some words of hope and optimism. First and foremost, I hope you're well. And if you or anyone you love has suffered from COVID-19 or any of the other challenges that this year has meted out, you have my sympathy and my sincere hope and prayers that you are facing these challenges with the utmost grace and resilience possible. I also hope that you're looking forward to the new year and your new lives as attorneys with a sense of optimism and determination. Because you're entering this ancient profession at a time when wise and tenacious lawyers and people who believe in the rule of law are needed more than ever. Remember, for centuries, when things fall apart and things seem hopeless, it has often been lawyers who have answered the call to put things right side up again, to bring order and justice to daunting situations. But if the events of this past year have taught us anything, they've shown us that life will hold many surprises and challenges in the months and years ahead. And Stetson has provided you with the foundation for your own success in meeting those challenges. Now, how you define that success is going to be different for each one of you. It's a very personal decision. When I was in your shoes, I longed for someone wise just to tell me what I should do next. But fortunately for me, my mentors did not hand me any easy answers, and they didn't direct me to some generic career template. Instead, they encouraged me to ask questions of myself, to be candid with myself about my ambitions for my career, about my desires for the kind of life that I wanted, and about how focused I was willing to be to attain those goals. I was fortunate to have the great honor to have a federal clerkship with Judge Charles Wilson on the 11th Circuit. And from there, I joined the law firm that I'm currently with today, Carlton Fields. And in fact, just a year ago, I was made managing shareholder there, which is another great honor for me in 2020. Carlton Fields is an old established firm, tracing our roots back in Tampa more than a century. And today we're home to more than 300 attorneys, so it's very much big law. And while that's the path that I chose for myself, not all of you will want to follow that path. Some of you will work for law firms that are even bigger than Carlton Fields, some smaller. Some of you may work for the government as prosecutor or a public defender. Others may go in-house for a corporation. And some of you will decide not to practice law at all, but to use your degree in some other way. Each of those paths can be the right one if it's the right one for you. You know, my parents are both career educators. They're retired now. but they both spent decades teaching and telling stories and trying to inspire students. And so I've spent a lot of time thinking about what I want to share with you today as we look forward to 2021 and beyond. After my father retired, he took up a second career as an ordained minister, which is what he does today. And when he delivers a sermon, he likes to emphasize the message with an observation or a parable. And he usually introduces that by saying, "Now, let me tell you a story." So, like father, like daughter, let me tell you a story. In fact, it's just going to be 3 short stories, but I hope that you will find some meaning in them and something that you can take into the next phases of your lives and your careers. I want to talk about the importance of deliberate intent and how that can focus your energy. I want to talk about action and how deeds must follow words in order for that deliberate intent to be authentic. And I want to talk about when intent leads to action, it often produces success. And it's important for you to share that success and how you achieved it with others so that the next generation can benefit from that knowledge too. So let's begin with intent. When I was a little girl, I grew up in the panhandle of Florida in a small town called Crestview. And as I said, my parents were educators, and they made sure that I learned to love to read, and that my curiosity was nurtured. And they did that very deliberately. And one of the things my father did was he gave me a book of poems, and he flagged one of his favorites, and it was a copy of the poem called Invictus. And knowing me as he did, he knew that that poem would inspire me just as it had inspired him. And I'm sure you're familiar with that poem, even if you don't recognize it by name. That's the poem that concludes, "It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." And I liked that poem, and so I printed it out and I put it on the wall in my room, and I must have looked at it every day. And in fact, it's still on the wall at my room in my parents' house today. And I like that poem because it's about challenges, about being faced with trauma and difficult situations. And the author describes them as the fell clutch of circumstance and the bludgeonings of chance. I'm sure a lot of us feel like we've been bludgeoned by chance and fell victim to unpredictable and terrible circumstances this year. But that's why intentionality is so important. There will always be things that are beyond your control and that you cannot change. When you approach life with deliberate intent, it means you look for those things that you can control, and you make the most of those opportunities. You understand that life is not something that just can or should just happen to you. You have agency over your life. Now, asserting that agency is not easy, and I would never suggest to you that it is. But I believe you can do it. Times of human tragedy are often the times when we find our greatest inspiration and opportunity. And you graduates are the ones with the vision and the determination that will lead us boldly down that path. Look, if you can get through 3 years at Stetson in these circumstances, you're capable of anything, and including defining your own success, creating your own happiness, and making your mark in this world. So what does that look like? Let's talk about authentic action. You wouldn't be here today if you didn't already believe that action must follow intent. You intended to become a lawyer, and then you took the steps and put in the work necessary to accomplish that intent. What I am suggesting is that there are a lot of people who will talk a good game about their intentions, but then they will neglect to supply the necessary action to deliver on that intent. For intent to be meaningful, substantive action must follow. Watching the events of this past summer unfold, especially those events related to racial justice movements, it struck me that this is one of the reasons that people began marching and protesting in the streets. The idea of equality under the law for all has been a dominant platitude since the very founding of our nation. But has it received authentic action to truly mean what those words intend. A lot of people of all colors and creeds and backgrounds don't think so. So let me give you some context from my life as a Black woman. After 3 years of hard academic work, I was rewarded with some wonderful professional opportunities in Tampa, and I was looking at several firms. All were very good, well-respected firms. And while all of those firms said the right things and had the right policies regarding diversity and inclusion, one firm, in my assessment, had demonstrated its commitment to diversity and inclusion more convincingly than the others, and that was my current firm. Why is that? Well, in 1963, Carlton Fields hired Ed Cutler, a Jewish man, at a time when hiring a Jewish man at a majority firm just wasn't done. That same year, 1963, Carlton Fields hired Sylvia Walbolt, a white woman who graduated #1 in her law school class at the University of Florida. And they hired her at a time when all the other law firms only wanted to hire her as a secretary, if at all. In 1972, Carlton Fields hired Eric Griffin, a Black man, again, at a time when hiring a person of color at a majority firm just wasn't done. And there were others that I could go on about, but the point is, when I was deciding where to start my career, I knew that Carlton Fields had demonstrated its commitment to diversity and inclusion with action. Action that had allowed talented women and men an opportunity to succeed, regardless of their race, their gender, or their religion. Now, I've been at Carlton Fields now for 17 years, and I will be the first to tell you that we do not have all the answers when it comes to diversity and inclusion, and we do not always get it right the first time. But I can tell you that our effort to get it right, to match our stated intention, is authentic. So one of my messages to you on your journey is to make sure that you follow the intent you express in words with action that is authentic. And as you evaluate your opportunities, whether in your career or otherwise, verify that the opportunity is living up to its lofty stated goals. You know, the term cancel culture gets thrown around a lot these days, usually as a pejorative and usually when it's aimed at the younger generation. I would submit, however, that holding people and organizations accountable for their stated intentions is a good thing. That's the kind of thing that leads to authentic action. And so that brings us to my third point, and that is share in your success. Make it a part of your life to give back to the community and to the next generation. Now, let me tell you one last story. As a young associate, I was working hard, billing hours. First year turned into the second year, and second year rolled into the third. And I started to feel a sense of emptiness that I couldn't shake. And I was complaining to a colleague one day, and she suggested, you know, Laurie, perhaps if you get a little more involved in your community, you'll find your place. Well, my first reaction was, nah. I just want to travel, hang out with my friends, you know, maybe a little retail therapy. That'll probably make me feel better. But of course, in the end, my colleague was right. I had become so singularly focused on myself and my professional goals that I lost sight of the bigger picture. I wasn't sharing in my success and giving back to my community. So I did two things that helped me find purpose in my life. First, I started to look for pro bono cases where my skill set could be used to help people and organizations that otherwise might not be able to afford legal representation. The American Bar Association talks about pro bono service this way. When society confers the privilege to practice law on an individual, he or she accepts the responsibility to promote justice and to make justice equally accessible to all people. That's an awesome responsibility that we share as lawyers. I know Stetson helped ignite that fire in you. I heard what the dean said about the hours that you've put in already. And I would encourage you not to lose sight of that responsibility. Make a personal commitment that you will give a certain amount of hours pro bono hours back to serving your community. And the second thing is I started volunteering with various community initiatives that had a mission that I believed in and that served the community. Those opportunities are so plentiful, especially now with the challenges of this past year. Find your passion and contribute. And pin your hat down so you don't lose it while you're giving remarks. The great Charles Hamilton once said to his law students at Howard University Law School that a lawyer is either a social engineer or a parasite on society. Use your success to be a social engineer. Whatever the contribution, however big or small, it's significant if it contributes in some way to a positive change in our society. Your success that we celebrate here today brings with it great responsibility. And I encourage you to share that success and rise up to meet this moment. Help judge a debate for high school students, or judge a law school's moot court practice. Volunteer at a food bank. Start a scholarship that will help students less fortunate than you, even if it's just a small amount. It's not enough just to intend to do this. You must make it happen. These are things that have helped me find purpose and meaning in my life, and I hope they will do the same for you. So in closing, my counsel to you graduates as you embark on your future, approach your careers and your life with deliberate intent. Authenticate that intent by ensuring your actions live up to your aspirations. And then share your success with others by giving back to the community, no matter the challenges that come your way. Let's step forward into this new world, confident in ourselves, the masters of our fate, and the captains of our souls. Congratulations, class of 2020. It has been my honor and privilege to speak to you today. Go forth and do good work.
Thank you, Attorney Baggett, for these inspiring words. At Stetson, we aim to provide you endless models of what you can be, and I hope this today gives you many, many more to look forward to and look up to. It is now time to celebrate our graduates. President Roelke, today we recognize the December 2019 and August 2020 graduates for the Juris Doctor degree, our LLM degrees, and our joint degrees. We anticipate that all graduates listed in the graduation program will meet the requirement for their respective degrees. As such, I ask you that you prospectively confer their degrees on them. All graduates, please stand.
Thank you, Laurie Baggett, and thank you, Dean Alexandre. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Stetson University, pursuant to the charter granted by the state of Florida, I pronounce you graduates of Stetson University and confer upon you all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Graduates, please come forward as your name is called.
Good afternoon. We will now recognize our graduates individually. We begin with a fall 2019 JD graduate, Kelly O'Connell. Next, we recognize our spring and summer 2020 JD graduates. The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by his aunt, Catherine Hennon Clark, a 1987 graduate of the College of Law. Christopher Hennon. Samantha Castro Waitaya, JD MBA. Courtney Lee Ireland. The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her mother, Robin Mattis Jackson, a 1987 graduate of the College of Law, and her father, Douglas Jackson, a 1987 graduate of the College of Law. Kelly Ann Jackson Honors Program. Joni Marie Johnson. Joshua Josiah Johnson. Tyler Johnson. Nicole Lee King. Rebecca Renee Clonell, Certificate of Concentration in Social Justice Advocacy.
Julia Knoll. Catherine Grace Kobeter, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy. The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her mother, Lily Landon, a 1985 graduate of the College of Law. Victoria Ann Landon, Maria G. Martin Award for Legal Ethics. Emerald Larabor. The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by his father, John LaRue, a 1988 graduate of the College of Law. Sean LaRue. Anna Rosa Leonard. Morgan Elizabeth McIsaac Bykowski. I am so sorry. Certificate of Concentration in Social Justice Advocacy and Public Interest Award. Colton McCorkle. Lamarck Marquise McGreen, Certificate of Concentration in Social Justice Advocacy and Victor O. Whaley Award.
The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her cousin, Evan Norton, a 2011 graduate of the College of Law, Claire Ashlyn McQueen, Walter Mann Award. And the diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her cousin, Evan Norton, a 2011 graduate of the College of Law, Morgan Maria McQueen, JD MBA. Alejandro Jesus Mendez, Victor O. Whaley Award. Madison Mackenzie Miller. Carissa Katerina Nelson. Nicole Alexis Neugebauer, Dean Richard Dillon Excellence in Real Property Award. Anthony J. Orlando, Honors Program, Florida Constitutional Law Award. Nicholas J. Panero.
Emily Ann Plakin. Kimberly Quintero. Michael Brandon Rinaldi, Victor O. Whaley Award. The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her father, Charles Samarcos, a 1989 graduate of the College of Law, and her sister, Grace Samarcos, a 2019 graduate of the College of Law. Mary Samarcos Raphael Steinhardt Award. Brian Stephen Sheese. Louis Scipione. Jonathan Cease, Certificate of Concentration in Environmental Law.
Congratulations, graduates.
Two of our most joyous times as educators are the day these students walk into the building and the classrooms and the day they graduate. So we are over the moon right now. Graduates, Stetson is a community dedicated to excellence. Our faculty serve as teachers, mentors, and role models. They demonstrate the values of leadership and service, and they serve as an inspiration to all of us. Graduates, Stetson University College of Law was founded in 1900. We know that you will follow more than a century of tradition as lawyers and leaders who are committed to the rule of law, who transform society, who represent the values of your law school, your university, and our profession. Today, we celebrate you. And from today forward, we are proud to call you graduates and alumni of the Stetson University College of Law. Graduates, please stand one more time. Turn your tassel from the right to the left of your tam as we acknowledge the class of 2020. And finally, families, supporters, and friends, you were there when our students needed you the most. Graduates, let's thank everyone that helped you to become a graduate of Stetson University College of Law. Congratulations. After the recession has concluded, we kindly ask that you meet your party and exit safely and swiftly to the parking lot. We so appreciate your cooperation. Thank you all, and be safe.